Hello chess lovers, Suren here, and in this video I would like to share with you another brilliant attacking game played by Magnus Carlsen. At the time of this game, Carlsen was 12 years 5 months old and his rating was 23-15. His opponent was Dagfinn Snarheim with a rating of 22-16, and the game was played in 2003 in Asker, which is a municipality in Norway. But before starting our game, if you are new to my channel, consider subscribing in order not to miss my future uploads. And now without further ado, let's get started with our game and see what happened on the board. Carlsen opened up with e4 and Snarheim responded with Sicilian defense c5, knight f3, d6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, knight f6, knight c3 and g6. Black goes for dragon variation, which usually leads to very sharp and double-edged positions. Here we have bishop e3, bishop g7, f3, black castles kingside, queen d2, and in return white is preparing castling queenside, knight c6, and we have it. Yugoslav attack with an immediate castling queenside. With this move, white omits bishop c4 in order to speed up the attack. But the downside of this move is that already the bishop is not on c4, the d5 is not controlled, and black can go for d5, though I have to tell you that in this game d5 was not played. In here, usually white is proceeding with e takes d5 and then is capturing on c6 and is playing bishop d4. This is the main line. By the way, I have to tell you that winning a pawn by capturing on d5 is not a good idea because that's exposing white's queenside too much, though games with that line can also be seen even at the top level. Let's go back, but in our game after castling queenside, we have knight takes d4, bishop takes d4, bishop e6. This is the second most popular choice after d5, and g4 by Carlsen, which is an inaccuracy. Later, Carlsen also pointed out that in here it was better to play king b1. Yes, this is a very important prophylactic move with the help of which white is also acting against queen a5. Now if we move like queen a5, then white can go for the standard knight d5 move, and if you capture on d2, white has this powerful Zwischen Zug, can first capture on e7 and then on d2. After king b1, black is usually playing queen c7, rook c8 and only then queen a5. But in our game after bishop e6 we have g4, which allows black to activate his queen immediately, and queen a5 is on the board. In this case black lost no tempos and manages to speed up his attack. King b1 by Carlsen. Already it's too late for king b1, but okay, that's still very important. Meanwhile we have rook c8 and already the threat is rook takes c3. For example, if we move like h4, then black can go for this exchange sacrifice and then can capture on a2. Though still there's nothing wrong with white's position, but black is getting a pretty nice counterplay. That's why after rook c8, Carlsen played a3, moved away his pawn from the dangerous a file, and rook b8. Meanwhile, this time black is preparing b5 advancement, knight e2. Carlsen is offering the exchange of queens, but black is rejecting. Queen a4. Black shows that he is ready for the fight and he's not looking for simplifications. g5 by Carlsen, knight h5, bishop takes g7, knight takes g7, knight d4, b5 and queen b4. Again, Carlsen is offering the exchange of queens and is stopping b4 because in that case black's attack could have been irresistible. But this time again, Dagfinn Snarheim rejected the offer of exchange of queens and moved back his queen on a6. Knight takes e6 by Carlsen, knight takes e6, and this time we have h4, queen b6 and h5. Carlsen goes for a pawn sacrifice, but of course capturing on g5 can be very dangerous. Once white is opening up the h file, then can play e5. This time can open up the fourth rank for the queen, and white's attack is going to be irresistible. Yes guys, there are so many threats that black won't manage to save this position. That's why after h5 black played queen f2, though could also play queen c5. But in this game, as we have already noticed, black was definitely playing for a win. With this move black targeted 2 pawns, bishop d3 and knight takes g5. This is a terrible mistake, after which black's position goes down very quickly. Instead, it was better to capture the pawn on f3. If rook f1, then queen g3, and if e5, then black can first lure away white queen from the 4th rank and then capture on e5. The players have equal chances. Let's go back, but in our game, after bishop d3 we have knight takes g5 and h takes g6. First, Carlsen is opening up the h file for the rook, after which is going for e5. With this move, Carlsen is both emphasizing the weakness of this diagonal, and also, in some lines, he will manage to bring his queen on the h file. Later in the game, we will see how Carlsen will switch into the attack his queen. Meanwhile, black is winning another pawn. In return, we have e takes d6, e takes d6, and queen f4. The queen is also coming and black is in trouble. Meanwhile, we have b4. Dagfinn Snarheim is not even paying attention what's going on the king's side. He proceeds with his attack, but white's queen side is very solid, and the one who should panic is black. Queen d4. Black is covering the h8 square, but by bringing the queen on the d file, black steps into this bishop takes g6 move. Queen g7 and bishop h7 check. King h8. Well, if king f8, then queen d6 check is coming, and then rook e1. Black king is getting checkmated. That's why in our game we have king h8 and queen takes d6. In return, we have b takes a3. Black is creating a mating threat, but after queen takes a3, white is managing to neutralize all the threats. Rook c3 and bishop g6, discover check. This is the most precise move. King g8. This time we have another beautiful move. Bishop takes f7. This light squared bishop is munching black's king side pawns one after another, and already with this sacrifice, white managed to totally expose black king. King takes f7. Well, if queen takes f7, then your rook is no longer protected. White can capture it. In our game, we have king takes f7 and queen takes a7 check, though I have to tell you that rook d7 check is even stronger, but we have queen takes a7. All the moves are winning. King f6, rook d6 check, king f5, queen takes g7, and finally we have a resignation. Black is a queen down and black king is in a mating net. A very, very beautiful game by Magnus Carlsen. Though in the opening he made an inaccurate move, hurried with his attack too much, played g4 instead of king b1, but very quickly he managed to reorganize his game and launched a devastating attack. In the end, as usual, want to sharpen your tactical skills? Please take a look at this position, which is also taken from Magnus Carlsen's game, and try to find the winning move for white. I will wait for your answer in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Here are more suggestions for you. Consider checking them out as well. I will see you in my next video.